So hi everyone.
How are you?
And my first question is to Freya. A big part of Ciri's journey this season is learning what it truly means to be a hero, that every act has its consequences and she can't save everyone. How would you describe her approach to that?
It's very idealistic, very of her age, but I think it stems from her past. Her grandmother literally killed people that were related to her, and that weighs heavy on her heart. And so I think she's just trying everything she can to not be that and be something better than that. And I think that's one of the really interesting parts of her journey, and how that shifts and changes due to the things that she goes through in this season.
Yeah, I agree. And Anya, this season we get to see a slightly different side of Yennefer. She finally became a mother, as she always wanted. And how do you feel that affects her? Like, is it like she expected it to be?
No, I think she definitely went in with an expectation of herself to be a mother figure to Ciri. And I think as they kind of find their feet with each other and understand that dynamic more, and how much they need each other, what they can learn from each other, I think she finally drops her ego and thinks about the bigger picture more, because there's something bigger in her life. She becomes more like politically aware, and she realises that the only way she can help Ciri, I think, is to change the continent for the better and not for herself.
To create a better world.
Yeah, and sometimes sometimes she doesn't, she has to make friends with people she doesn't want to make friends with. But it's ultimate, and she's never had to do that before, because she's just like, I don't want to, I don't like you, therefore I'm not going to,
And now it's not
you.
only
and
about
now it's
her.
different. And now it's different, yeah. It's changed a lot.
Yeah. And Joey, let's talk about Jaskier's superpower, that he does not only sees people, but he sees the best in them. And you think it's more like a gift or a curse?
Oh, lovely question. I think, but I think it is both. I think I think he sees it as his superpower, and as someone who plays him, I try and see as much of it, of the bad side to it as well. He is trusting, deeply trusting with...
When you see good, you usually expect good.
Exactly,
and that comes with
yeah.
feeling of betrayal and disappointment.
Yeah, he's judging the world by his own standards, which are, ones of loyalty and kindness, I think. So when he gets hurt, he does hurt harder, I think, than a lot of others. So, it's been a real joy to try and explore that season by season and see him simultaneously open up and become more vulnerable, but by doing so becoming almost a little hardened in places and more like grittier, because he's learning to put up defenses when he needs them. He's growing up. The little fella's grown up.
And my last question is for all of you. The Witcher is based on the books, as we know, and as with any book adaptations, fans have pretty strong opinions about staying faithful to the source material. And how do you feel about that? Like, in general, do you think that adaptations should stick to the books at all costs, or more like create the new alternative versions about stories that people already know?
I think it depends from scenario, from story to story, what you choose to change and doing that smartly, so that it doesn't affect it too much. Like, we've been having to face the challenges of Yennefer's betrayal quite a lot, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's different medium as well. We're bringing this to screen, and we're giving more to certain characters, and that comes with different shifts to the story, but ultimately the foundation and the structure, we want to stay as loyal to the books as possible.
I think a big part of what we have to do as actors is to separate ourselves from questions like that, because ultimately our job is to live in the character, be as a fight for the integrity of your character within the confines of the scripts that are given to you, and to do your best to respect the books, Mr. Sapkowski's amazing text, whilst also respecting Lauren's vision as well. And our job is to live, and sometimes that requires doublethink, sometimes that requires contradiction, but ultimately, at the end of the day, if we can have as much of Sapkowski's writing in as much of Lauren's vision as possible, then we can usually get to sleep at night. It's not always
also welcome different perspectives as well. I think that's really important to hear everyone's voice in whatever you're doing, because there's not one person who's
it's collaborative.
Yeah, it's collaborative.